Welcome back to the WGLNA. I'm Clutch, joined by Greetorp, and also Ro4 to the end of the desk, to the far side, who I can't reach and try to take off his hat because you get really, really upset if I did that. There he is. This day in history,
Awesome.
the American troops went over to Korea in 1950 to start the partition of the country, which my grandfather was actually involved in when he was in the Navy. And still to this day, there's North Korea and South Korea now. And there was a lot of tank warfare that happened. T-34-85 was used a lot in the mountainous ranges, but the Pershing could shoot right through that tank. Unfortunately, it was not very well equipped for the mountainous ranges, and so they would upfit the Jumbo Shermans and also the EZ-8s, I believe.
Not Jumbo Shermans. Very few of those were ever made. So
the EZ-8s.
For good reason.
That's
I mean, their hull is just...
I know. They only needed
made
4.
of depleted uranium.
They only needed 4. A lot of the models used in video games use the Jumbo Sherman model.
Of course, it's the best tank ever.
Yeah. But they use those, but they also outfitted the EZ-8s, which are the E-8s instead of the E-2s, which is the Jumbo Sherman. And they did better on the mountainous ranges, and they also added duckbills to the side of those tanks to... It wasn't just better traction, but it was better flotation of the tanks in the mud.
Very interesting. You know, it's always cool to see like these little innovative things that are added, and you always ask yourself, oh, why did they do that? And then it's a very, very lean way of explaining, oh, well, you know, we have to go through the mud, and what better thing to do than to have these little things on the side that just allow us to traverse it a little bit easier.
Because the engineers have to explain that to the Army Corps to say, why do the taxpayers need to pay for this? Like, well, so we don't get caught in the mud and get ambushed and our tank stolen and then used against us.
Or not even that. I mean, there's probably ways to better the tracks, right? There's much better ways to just make sure that you're never, ever stuck in mud. And they have to say, like, okay, well, we can't change the tank. What can we add to it that's very cheap?
Especially if it's deployed.
Yeah. It's so cool.
I'm not going to bring it back to the factory. Yeah, that was the innovation of technology in warfare. And wars always increase the level of technological innovations. It's a sad fact, but it's true.
That's why we should go to Syria.
No.
Just kidding.
Whoa.
I'm not bringing political.
Well, Clutch, just a few other tanks are actually a few other tanks in North Korea, guys, were the Chaffee. You did have the M4 Sherman, and then you also had the Patton, which actually made its way to the Korean War. So just a few other tanks out there that you guys might not have thought of. I know the Sherman was not the only one there. You had tanks like the Patton and the Chaffee. Very little tank. Did not... it's very light. Very poorly armored, man.
Yeah. You know what's light and tiny is the M22 Locust. I've seen that in real life. I'm taller than that tank.
Really?
It was tiny.
Could you fit inside?
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
The Chieftain couldn't fit inside, at least.
Well, the Chieftain's a pretty
I
tall
could fit
dude.
inside then.
Chieftain is about 2 or 3 inches taller than I am.
Yeah, I actually saw him inside the mouse in the video he just did about the. What was
He
it?
could fit inside that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he actually got to go inside one.
Yeah, Chieftain's hatch. Check that out, wargaming.net or worldoftanks.com to watch it.
Yeah, although he had to do like an outside the Chieftain's hatch because there's not really anything in the mouse. They kind of cleaned that whole thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
saw
So,
the Chieftain's hatch.
and he actually had to enter. I think he entered it through the engine compartment or the cooling.
If they took it out.
Because there's nothing in it. There's
That's
no
a
engine. There's
huge
just the barrel. There's nothing else really there. It's such a cool tank though, and I'm so I'm jealous of him because he got to go all the way to Russia to go see that thing. I mean, he was at Kubinka, and he gets to go chill out inside a mouse. No one else gets to do that, really. But the Chieftain does.
I probably could.
Well, you should do that. Can you bring me along?
We'll get a size variation because you're a lot of the German drivers for the tanks were 5'2" and below.
Oh, that's way
They
shorter
were
than
tiny.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even you might be a little bit too tall for some of the German tanks, but the Panzer IV that I got to sit inside in, I could barely sit inside the driver's seat for the Sherman.
Wow.
But that was cool though to sit in there.
So it's like perfect for me.
Yeah. I mean, just how it was designed. But you want to feel weak and you want to feel like your bones can break easily. Knock against the tank. It is baffling. I didn't fully comprehend really or fully appreciate the reverence of being around these giant war machines and how they were used so much in World War II and beyond. It's fascinating. So if you do have a chance to go to any tank museum, definitely go.
What kills me is you have these really well armored things, like literally you knock on it and you don't hear anything, right? Because nothing vibrates.
Yeah.
Your hand vibrates. That's about it. And then you realize that in less than 0.01 seconds, something is penetrating this armor, and it very easily too. I mean, that really tells you how much firepower is going into it, and it just humbles you a lot because at any point in time, you could be dead in a tank. Like if you're operating one of those things, you could be flat out dead just on how fast these shells are penetrating these tanks.
It is scary, man. It's scary. But a lot of cool stories about tankers. You guys can definitely check out. Wargaming has a lot of fascinating videos, so make sure to go to their website for more information. We, on the other hand, are getting ready for Hunter by Hunter versus Simposaurus Rex. Two teams that we're familiar with their clans pretty much. Hunter by Hunter is some of the talent from Cazadores.
We could just say Cazadores B team.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Farm
These
team.
guys are obviously really good, but it's like the best Spanish-speaking clan against the best English-speaking clan in North America. That's right. That's what it comes down to today.
Yeah. Yeah, Simposaurus Rex from Simp. And some of these members you're familiar with, correct, Ro4?
Yeah, there's players like A-Large over there. Shout out to him, I guess. And actually, let's see who actually is going to be showing up today.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the game screen.
Well, actually, this isn't, is this Simposaurus Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. Okay, yeah.
It's Okeano.
Okeano.
But he's going to be benched.
Yeah. It's not a completely Simp team. There are guys that are not from Simp, like Fruitcake for me is from Aces, who actually, Aces went to Eurosteel. They made a team that went to the last Eurosteel. I got to get to Eurosteel on the Red Sky team, but I did not, sadly, get to go to Russia. But the Aces was one of the teams that went there, and they props to them for going there, but you don't see any Aces teams around. And I'm actually surprised because they used to be able to make a decent team.
Well, lots of teams are vying for the prize pool of $100,000. Fulcrum Gaming is a testament that, yes, we do pay out the money. Simp just got their check, too, and they're really happy about that. Fulcrum took home $50,000. Simp, $25,000.
Actually, $30,000.
Thursday.
If you
Mac
count
G,
Mac
count the
G's
MVP.
MVP, yeah.
That's right. But now it's time for battle number 1, ladies and gentlemen, to find out if either of these two teams will make it to Season 2. It is Hunter by Hunter versus Simposaurus Rex. The map is Ensk. Let's jump to the battle.
It does look like Hunter x Hunter does want to move out. We see tanks moving from Hunter x Hunter around the map, so I think they're going to try and do something as this comes to a close. Do that very, very characteristic last-second attempt that we've seen out of Cazadores teams in the past. So it could work out to that, but it's at this point, I don't think Simposaurus Rex is really in a position that can be an aggressed on. And seeing as Hunter x Hunter hasn't really done all that much scouting themselves, I don't think either team is really in a position to try and break the other's position, or a last-ditch attempt to get 8 points will actually come to work.
56 seconds left on the clock. No movement from either team, except the back and forth of Helio X in the 1390. All he's doing is just wasting gas. But he is scouting back and forth here, at least on patrol. And there's a standstill. We have a, I want to say a rectangular position with one fulcrum center.
More like a pentagon.
Well, but it's not really.
Here's
it's
a
only
tank.
pointed one way. Oh, here's one of the light tanks now, finally making a move. Down to the south, he pushes. He is able to scout one of the heavy tanks. 17 seconds left on the clock, though. Nothing's going to happen. No tanks are going to be destroyed. It's going to be a draw, folks. In battle number 1, we see this. I mean, even the pro teams, we've seen this happen. Trying to knock out. Oh, looks like they were able to kill one of the T1s. Okay, 3 seconds left on the clock. 2, 1. And it's going to be a draw. South side red team, it is Hunter by Hunter. To the north, it is the blue. It is Simposaurus Rex. Greetor, we already talked about the tanks.
Yep. Just to reiterate, a T-32, a T-69, 3 1390s for Simposaurus Rex. A 5100, that's the wild card. 2 T-69s and 2 1390s on this side. Whoa, I went really far out. Well,
You did.
Let me go back. Let me go back.
Skydiving Greetor coming in hot from the sky here. Randall, what do we see for positioning?
Nothing surprising out of Simposaurus Rex. If I'd had time before the match, I would have said this was what we were going to see. An east side move with a T-32 who is in position to either defend the base or take some shots south. And what he represents is a whole lot of health, consistent fire, and an incredibly strong, hard-to-defeat turret. He is the only tank that could possibly pen him are these T-69s. They could possibly pen his turret, but it's going to be so difficult. They just have to have those 300 pen heat rounds.
300 pen, but yeah, they're heat rounds. They're not nearly as good on this map because you're normally shooting from really, really far away or really up close. Not only that, this east side, Ro4, I know, we were talking about this. You're the one that actually told me. But the hold down positioning in this T-32, there's so many ways to hold down over on the east side, and it's nice because it's progressive, right? Like you can always move up and always find a good position to attack your opponent. So this is just a fantastic way to play this out. Also very standard.
There's nothing out of the ordinary about this strategy. It's just so consistent. The only risk, which I think these 1390s are considering now, is a trap laid ahead. I actually saw Simposaurus Rex play the south last time, and they actually tried to set up a trap, which I've done this before. From their position, there are a number of bushes on the left side of the approach that you guys see up ahead, and from there could be tanks hidden in any of these bushes, spotting an approach from the 1390s. If that were to happen, a 1390 attempting to scout the ridgeline that you see now could just get jumped upon by guys waiting just in this tree line right here that you see on screen now. That is a trap, but it looks like there is no one there. As I'm looking and everyone else is looking at the minimap, these 1390s have decided to go up together. Also very smart to move up together as a group to take this position. There's so much risk in a 1390 moving up. Yes, moving up alone as a 1390 here, there's so much risk to get jumped on if your allies are way back, because it's almost 400 meters from this position to most of the good, solid hull-down positions to take up as Simposaurus Rex, which would be the Rock far back. The T-32 Revelator would be the guys covering traditionally.
Stasis up here in the T1, way in the mountain ranges, has a great view range, or at least sight, of his own flag. And so if any of those tanks do start the approach, he will have a couple seconds to get the scouting done and then either escape or try to draw their fire if one of the heavy tanks more to the west is able to lock in the engagement around the corner. But that is going to be a very quick trigger that's going to have to pull here from Simposaurus Rex. They decide to go that way, but they're not. They're going to go ahead and go all the way back to the north, hiding in that east valley, cruising around here in the 1390s. Both these teams very, very apprehensive about each other because the stakes are so high. Every single one of these battles has been a single elimination, or this entire bracket single elimination. So if you make it to the round of 32, the round of 16, you're out. Hey guys, we made it pretty far. Great job. Here's what we need to work on for the next qualifier. You make it to the semifinals. We've got to win, guys. We've made it this far. Let's study, let's practice. Everything is on the line here, and let's make it to the finals after this. So you have two huge engagements. So you could say the build-up's a lot more intense for both of these teams. But Cazadores, under any type of pressure, had performed remarkably well earlier this evening. Both these teams were just waiting to see who's going to engage, who's going to fire that first shot, who's going to be the first one to go down, as we are now approaching the 5-minute mark into battle number 2.
15 minutes straight of no real engagement, ladies and gentlemen. You can really see, both teams being incredibly defensive. And I don't blame them because this match does mean so much, but especially on a map like Steppes, I feel like you can, well, it's actually incredibly difficult. A lot of these maps also kind of, they always have this one defensive point that is normally very hard to break, and even the best maps, I would say, have that one point, and because it's just that one point to break, it makes it incredibly easy to defend against that one point because they know you're coming from there. So it's...
I would love to see Hunter by Hunter pull the Cazadores and go down
they
the
are group stage Cazadores.
Yeah.
This is all they did.
I'm talking about Qualifier Cazadores going down the center
I would love
road.
that too.
Group stage Cazadores versus Qualifier Cazadores. Yeah, they're two different things. Well, if you strategize because of the fear of not losing, you're not going to perform that well. You have to strategize with a clear victory in sight. All parameters, all variables are planned for. You know how to execute them because you've been executing them time and time and time again through practice, through repetition. That's what boot camp is all about. That's what they would yell at me in the Air Force. If you can't fold a t-shirt, how could we possibly entrust you with $1 billion airplane, Cadet Gray? So that's why I had to learn to fold t-shirts right. But if you can't do something that simple, why are they going to trust you to do something big? But both these teams have to have the fundamentals down pat in order for them to perform in any type of scenario on any type of map. Steps the map here, again, 2 defensive sides. Both teams are taking it up. East side in the valley, and to the southwest we have the rocks. Hunter by Hunter could push all the way to the north, start a trigger, get past the railroad tracks to the north side, one of the light tanks, and unload. Here we have 2 of the T-69s here. Just enjoying I would want to say, what do you go, make out point or whatever? You go to the top of a hill or a mountain to see.
It's Mountain Pass View.
Mountain Pass View. That's not. It's really not.
That's where all the cool kids go.
Yeah. With John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. They went to the movies. That's where they went.
Why you gotta be like that?
Yeah, why you gotta be like that, Sandy? Come on now. Welcome back, Carter. Never watched that show, but so many impressions of John Travolta are so funny. Anyways, guys, Mad Max and Tico holding it down here. 2 minutes, 26 seconds left on the clock. If it's another draw, this will automatically turn into a best of 3.
Oh, Revelator pushing all the way over. And he's darting across. It looks like Simposaurus Rex does want to...
Shots fired, and some damage is on the board. Revelator in the T-32 down at 1098.
Oh,
Mad
my
Max
gosh.
and Tico
Pew, pew.
firing the last shots they have in the 69s, and they're going to have to fall back. That T-32 absorbing a lot
Turn
of the
sideways.
hits.
He's turning sideways. He's creating himself as cover as the T-32. Unfortunately, T1's not able to take cover behind a T-32. He's a little bit lower profile. Not good enough cover.
No,
right there,
Hunter by
guys.
Hunter's down the lead, 42 tier points. They can stay in the rocks and win. 1 minute, 47 seconds left on the clock. There was
There were a lot of shots being used, though. The T-69 should be clipping right now. This is valuable time that they're not taking advantage of. It's really unfortunate. They're darting across as fast as possible, but this is already, maybe halfway, 3/4 of the way.
Oh, they're going to catch Helio out in the middle here. He's going to get one hit at A-Large 2. Misses, though, but Keanu.
A-Large is going to get torn apart. He's down to 88 now. He's going to go down in a second, I think. There he goes. That is 16 points.
And
Even more.
Mighty Pillow is the next priority.
Another shot. Helio X tries to lock down another hit against Okeano, and he does. Misses.
Oh,
on the side of Simposaurus.
Okeano and Mighty Pillow did run into each other. Now it looks like the rest of the Hunter by Hunter team is moving in. Mighty Pillow and Okeano yet again crashing. It looks like Mighty Pillow does go down directly after that. There Okeano goes, and Fruitcake gonna be eating some cake tonight.
Yeah.
No, probably not, because this is not a celebration.
They will have some fruitcake tonight.
No celebration here except for Hunter by Hunter taking battle number 2, the first victory on the board. Welcome back to WGLNA Season 2 Qualifier number 1 semifinals, and then the finals are after this. Who will it be that will face Cazadores? Will it be Hunter by Hunter, the ones that are part of the Cazadore clan, or Simposaurus Rex, another team from Simp? We're going to find out here on Himmelsdorf. And to all the people watching in chat, thank you so much for the positive comments about my Star Wars reference. There'll be more where that came from. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure so far this week. And now that we've seen some action from both these different teams, hopefully Simposaurus Rex can clean it up a little bit. But Hunter by Hunter, they're looking pretty good when they start engaging. We're going to find out here as battle number 3 is getting started here on Himmelsdorf.
And here we go, spawning the southern side, it is Hunter by Hunter. And over on the north side, we have Simposaurus Rex. Looking at the lineups, 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a T-69 for Simposaurus Rex. The other side, it's an IS-3, a T-69, and 1390. Now, we saw this on Ensk, a 1390 being used. I'm not a big fan of this, and now they're bringing it to Himmelsdorf. How can they empower the 1390? It has to be with the western side move. Here's the thing, though. I understand what you said. Hunter by Hunter is looking pretty good, but I don't think it's winning performance just yet. And of course, I am incredibly biased because I've said it before, not only in Tank Talk, but also on casts. I do not like defensive play. I do not like turtle play. I understand and do think that sometimes it is called for. Sometimes it's the correct move to do. But defensive play is not how you win series. It's how you win battles. But it's not something you could fall back to and say, this is going to be winning me championships.
And my rebuttal / agreement with you is yes, but if I'm in the lead and all I need is a draw to win, there's no reason for me to be on the aggressive side. And that's where the other team has to really shine and really show their skill in World of Tanks 7x42. And that's why each of these different maps, each of these different engagements can be completely different, even down to the tank selection choice.
I mean, I think the skill gap or the skill ceiling for defensive play is incredibly low, but the skill ceiling for being offensive is really where we get to see how these players and these callers are where they are in terms of their knowledge in World of Tanks. That's where we get to see, this guy knows what he's doing, or this guy doesn't belong leading a company.
Even in the recent GeForce NVIDIA tournament, Na'Vi went for a very defensive play on steps with 3 T-32s. Mouse Sports took a game off of them because of that defensive play. They were able to get the surrounds on those T-32s, lock down those 3, and pressed in. Na'Vi, of course, changed up their play style in the finals against Mouse Sports. They were able to win it. But it just goes to show you that, yes, defensive play is practical, it's viable, but offensive play is the best defense.
Oh, man.
Yep. You always need to be working for something in a battle. You can, if you have a lead, draws are within the realm of possibility that you can allow. It's something that can happen, and you can let it happen. But you should never go into a game saying, let's play defensively, and our most likely outcome that we're going to see is a draw, unless our enemy makes a mistake. That's not a good way to go for it. You need to go for we play for a win. If a draw happens because of setbacks or the enemy's strategy is not in line with ours, or it's advantageous for them in this situation, we can let a draw happen. It can happen sometimes, and it does, because this is World of Tanks. The game, and a lot of its design allows. There's a lot of room for draws. It's just that way on a lot of maps. They're so huge. When you have 7 versus 7, there's a lot of dead space, a lot of empty space where you've got no tanks on this map. For example, if you take a look at the northwest quadrant of your mini-map right now, look at all that dead space that's not being utilized right now. There's just no tanks in it, and there's just all these dead areas where no one's doing anything. There's no coverage. That's just the way maps are a lot of the time in World of Tanks. And this is part of the reason we see draws, because teams aren't forced to engage on Himmelsdorf like this. They can stay back. They can get away with draws on a lot of maps in this way, just because of how big it is, and how if you play the northwest and the southwest, they're completely separate. These guys aren't going to be running into each other anytime soon unless they change up their positioning.
We see the positioning of some of the heavy tanks straight on defensive next to their flag cap. Onizuka and the 5100 joined by his teammate Lincoln. And no movement from them. And 5 minutes, 26 seconds left on the clock. If I don't see any movement from this team at the 5-minute mark, they're just going to play defensive, I believe, through the whole rest of the map.
Honestly, very uninspiring to me. It's just a lackluster performance, because I heard them on TeamSpeak yesterday. They were very active on comms. They were always buzzing around, telling each other what to do, saying things, what they saw, et cetera, et cetera. And I know that when you have that good communication, you're able to execute that type of plan and attack really, really well. And I feel like Hunter by Hunter, they're able to do that. They are, and I know they're up against a different caliber than what they've been playing against in recent nights, but I still feel like they don't have to go to the first 3 games and just camp.
Yep.
Yeah. However, I feel like Simposaurus Rex probably feels really demoralized right now. After that push they made on steps did not go their way, I wonder if they're going to be hesitant to make that commitment this time.
Yeah, I mean, the same frustration that I'm giving is probably going through Simposaurus Rex's minds. And they're saying, well, this is ridiculous. Let's just go and push again. And that can definitely affect you when you're doing this best of 5. Obviously, they're down 2-0. They do not, absolutely do not, or excuse me, they're down 1-0. They don't want to be taking a 2-0 loss.
Well, it's just like in football. If you guys, if any team gets defeated, if one run didn't work correctly, that is not going to help anyone. You have to pick yourselves up, dust it off, and move on, and that's what Simposaurus Rex is going to have to do. But because they're playing defensive, they may be in a little bit of an advantage if there is a straight-on push for Hunter by Hunter. But Hunter by Hunter can get some great flanks, especially if they spread out correctly with their IS-3s, and maybe that's what we're going to see here with these heavies moving across all the way into enemy territory past the sea line. Mad Max and Tico on the red team are pointed in the direction towards Tank Alley. That approach may not be necessary at all from Simposaurus Rex if they go down the 5 line and cut half their forces on the B line right across that way. And if they're able to get the B line secured and get into those windows, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's
there
going to be
haven't
so
been any
difficult.
spots, right?
No, I haven't seen anyone spotted
There's
so
one
far.
spot right now, and that's for the light tank on the red team. They are able to see that one light tank, but that's it.
Okay.
I can't see him from over here. I see, yeah, it looks like everything's in the dark. Although we do have Simposaurus Rex actually taking an interesting route. I do like this. I feel like they're going to get spotted for it, but
That's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, what they want to do is jump to this position over here in D5, and then that way it empowers the 2 tanks that are sitting. Actually, it's just one tier 8 tank. That 5100 Mighty Pillow is looking to go into that little tiny spot. Oh, looks like Estasis is going to be spotted out, taken out.
He goes
shot.
down.
Nice shot through the window there.
But now look, Mighty Pillow is going to be, well, if he can get to the position, but he is taking a big shot down to 886 hit points. Aramir is matching up against a 5100 that, well, he goes down.
Oh, both the T1s, 400 by Hunter, are down. Onizuka and Lincoln in the 5100s trying to scout around that corner. They do see the T69, fruitcake for me,
and
getting
cap.
close, and he is on the cap. And the
Oh,
T1A large, too. We'll see anything moving to try to get that T69.
Nice screen. A nice screen. Legit and Revelator are over there receiving the IS-3 and Tico in that T69. And also you can see that that Mighty Pillow went all the way around in his 5100. It looks like he's going to meet up with the other 2 tanks that are currently capping. A very nice screen being done, but it's going to be easily stopped. But the problem is, yes, it gets stopped, but look at that. Onizuka gets blown up in the beginning stage. Down he goes, just 3 seconds, and he's already dead.
This is a good play for Simposaurus Rex. All they have to do now is play defensive.
Elias is burning.
Yeah, he's burning.
He leaking.
He doesn't have any extinguishers. That means just one shot and it goes down. There it is. Looks like Legit was going to clean up that attack. Tico now, next priority, down to 699 health from Revelator that was able to get a good shot. Mad Max and Lincoln are coming in from behind in a 5100 and IS-3. They can put out a lot of damage. Legit not looking too good.
Oh,
can he
Legit
get one more shot on?
gets one more shot out of 140 damage, is able to track Mad Max 297. Another shot from Fruitcake for
Wow.
me. 2 seconds left.
And
Simposaurus Rex cleaning up, and they do get the flag capture. Simposaurus Rex gets a battle under their belt, and now we have a series between these 2 teams.
And unload into his gas tanks because it's a T-32. It's going to catch fire
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah, that's why you carry a extinguisher.
Do you know what the advantage is?
What?
They use Simposaurus Rex uses extinguishers.
Auto fire extinguisher, sir, which also reduce your chance
Hey,
to
there's
catch
no
fire.
cons as long as you have a fire extinguisher.
I was going to say,
And
by the way,
food.
Roadkill, I use auto fire extinguishers as well.
Because you're an intelligent human being.
Well, it's actually because, you know, I was asking for gold one day, and Wargaming was really nice. They're like, here's a little head start, just to have it. And it was probably like supposed to be like 250 or something like that that they really were supposed to give me. They actually put 250,000. Rootkill notices it, ladies and gentlemen, and immediately he buys me like 10,000 fire extinguishers.
They
I'm
were
like,
on sale.
well, I'm good for life.
T69 takes down the T1 from Air News. Helio X does get hit. He rams into the side of Onizuka. Not too much damage was taken, though. Onizuka is trying to get to the cover at the same time. A little bit of a panic from the red team. 1 minute, 15 seconds left on the clock. Wow, getting tripped up just on the number 15. Cinnabar, the T1, is dodging fire.
But hey
Helio
guys,
X
stasis.
misses
But there's a
twice.
huge push
and
mid.
he was on fire again. He was on fire again. Helio X, I think an extinguisher might have been used, or it was a very small fire, but still it's important to note that there was a fire. TKO is now engaging directly against the T-32 Mighty Pillow and a large 2. 3v1, nice overmatch.
They're coming in hot.
They are coming in hot. Simposaurus X up 40-33. One more kill, and they will be able to get the tier 8 advantage. Onizuka taking a lot of fire from the T-69s, but Estasis in the T1 isn't able to help him whatsoever. Can't penetrate anything. Simposaurus Rex up at 40. 28 seconds left on the clock. Helio X trying to lock some shots into Fruitcake for me, but Air News 39 sharing the HP and some shots out of his T69. Helio X at 828 of 1100. Another shot fired from A large 2, getting the surround. They lost the tier advantage. They've got to get the kill against Helio. 60 HP left. 10 seconds left on the clock. He's running for it into the water. Will the blue team, will A-Large get the shot necessary? One does ring up for Mighty Pillow. Whoa, 3 HP left. It's a draw. It is a draw, ladies and gentlemen.
2 Simposaurus Rex. They will not probably make the mistake.
Oh, and Lincoln is going to be spotted there in the 5100 as well.
Spots on spots.
So,
these are so important right now.
This is all an indicator to tell them. Oh, Estasis.
Moving way up.
And he goes down. Fruitcake for me. Takes down the T1, but Onizuka is not able to land anything. No shots fired from him.
He's no longer good bait.
Yep. He is wasted bait now.
Yeah.
Yep.
1 minute left, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like we will be going into a tie game here. You know, I've talked to a lot of pro players, and they say on Prokhorovka, incredibly hard to attack from west into east, and the same thing east into west. So what ends up happening is it becomes a stalemate. But Onizuka and Heliox is moving all the way over. We might have a last-ditch effort for an attack.
Yeah, that 30 seconds left. Trying to... No, they're not going to fully commit yet. Waiting for it. A-Large 2. Are they going to focus fire him? That would be the smartest tactic to do with 20 seconds left. Don't crash into each other, guys. Oh, man. 18 seconds left. Onizuka does get over the hill, but there's 2 1390s waiting for him. 637 out of 1100. A Mighty Pillow is the one that absorbs the shots. 851 for him. Onizuka dodges another hit from the T-32. 3 seconds left on the board. 1 second. It's going to be a draw between these two teams.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I do have an update. There is no shootout possibility. We apologize. Official rules state that map play continues in sudden death format.
Okay.
So we will just continue on. We apologize for the mix-up here. Of course, there's a lot of rules going around.
Yeah, well, the shootout is for the actual group stage play. That's why it is a possibility in group stage. In the qualifier, it's a little bit different. And again, like Ro4 said, apologize for that. I've got your hopes up. But it means that it's going to be a battle to the death between these two teams. And Rukil, I kind of want to get your thoughts on could anything have gone differently on that map, because it seemed neither one wanted to cruise over those hills.
With these teams, I feel like there's mutual fear out of
both
commanders.
The fear is evident.
Yes, when
very evident.
When two teams fear each other like that, they're afraid to push in. They both second guess themselves constantly.
Yep.
And aside from very few instances, we don't see actually a real commitment. The only win by Hunter X Hunter was actually more of a fumble by Simposaurus Rex.
Yeah.
We don't see Hunter X Hunter actually going for any wins, and that actually really does kind of just, it chafes me a little bit, because you want to see teams try to actively go for some kind of victory.
I agree.
It's just, I don't know what to say about Hunter X Hunter.
Caster, you can say.
Okay, I'm a completely biased caster, guys. I don't want to see any of that kind of play.
Don't get me wrong. I respect defensive play. I believe it belongs in top-tier competitive play. I think that when used correctly, will win you a lot of series. But if you drop back to 100% defensive play and you draw out basically every single map, making it impossible or very difficult for your opponents, what you end up doing is reducing the amount of skill you need to play against your opponents, thereby having a little bit worse opponents beat you a lot more often.
Yeah.
And it just increases that variance in the amount of players or in the amount of teams that can beat you. And I think that's not a consistent way of playing it out. I also want to say that Simposaurus Rex, technically, they could say, well, we should have won here if it wasn't for that unfortunate 3 hit points on mines, right? Because that was unfortunate. And if it tied here, they would have had a big win. But unfortunately for them, we're going to go into shootout. 2 maps left.
We're not going to shootout.
I'm not going to go
Or
shootout.
not shootout.
Yeah.
2 maps left in regular map rotation. It's going to be, I believe, Abbey and Ruinberg. So
We'll have to verify with the admins on that.
I
What
see
we're
Abby.
going to do, is we're going to take a quick break. So everybody, grab your favorite beverage, grab a snack, because it's not going to be over until we declare a winner, so we can move on to the finals for Season 2 Qualifier number 1. Don't go anywhere. WGLNA continues after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 Qualifier number 1. We have exhausted all maps, and that means there has been a decision. We're going to do a shootout.
Malanovka is our next
Malanovka.
map of choice, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? If we see a draw here, I'm done.
Yeah.
Quitting my job, getting out of California, moving to Mexico.
The only way it could draw if both tanks shot at the same time and killed each other.
It's possible.
It's
Please,
possible.
Clutch.
It's possible.
I'll move to Tijuana,
It's possible.
take my tens of dollars that I've made from esports, and just retire comfortably.
Yeah. I
As a homeless man.
spend most of my esports money on hair products. That's what I
Really?
spend
We
on
can
hair.
tell.
Yeah, thanks.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm growing it out so I can play Clark Kent for Halloween. Then after that,
I got to do
Clean
that.
it
I
up.
have a receding forehead.
yeah,
I need to invest
Really?
more. I cover it up, right?
I have never noticed.
You could have never told. Actually, I could tell very much.
Acting. All right, so because
But you're a mean person.
I'm
Deep
very,
down inside, you're a mean
I'm
person.
nice on the surface. That's all that matters. All right, so because we don't want to have everyone waiting for an entire night, and because honestly there needs to be a victor declared for the qualifiers to move on, that's why we're implementing the shootout. It is from the Season 1 rules. Both teams are going to be ready here pretty soon. How this works on Malanovka is there is a big open field that farmers like to grow crops and harvest in the fall, but unfortunately tanks are going to drive over them. So
Yeah.
no big pumpkin fest are going to happen in this region. So sorry to all the farmers. But joking aside, all the tanks will move to that center area. An admin will be on comms with them. We'll give them the countdown. Now the tanks can line up, of course, across from each other, but they can position themselves accordingly to how they wish. Once the countdown is over, shooting begins. The last one alive or the last team alive will be the victors, and we'll move on to the finals for qualifier number 1 up against Cazadores. Intriguingly enough, it could be hunter by hunter. It could be a clan versus clan, or it could be
See.
Simposaurus Rex.
It's going to be really, really interesting. Yeah, Malanovka, definitely one of those maps that I think a lot of crops could have grown back then. Actually,
Yeah.
What's nice, Wargaming implemented, if you go down and play in like Tier 1s, Tier 2s, even all the way up to maybe Tier 5s, you can see a lot of potatoes being grown in the center. A lot of them, okay? It's easy. You just
Yep.
sit, you wait, and then you watch them grow, and within minutes, they're there. They're just there.
They just pop up.
I
They
They
just pop up,
and you just
and then
free potatoes.
Speaking of all this produce, my taste buds immediately drew up the memory of the grapes that were growing at my grandma's house. Wow, I recently got to visit Seattle, which was a real treat for me because I hadn't been there in 13 years. So I got
Wow.
to see a lot of places where I grew up. And it completed a whole chapter of my life, really, of bridging my childhood to my adulthood together. And I felt my life was actually more complete by visiting there. And one of the reasons why is because my grandma has some amazing grapes that grows at her house, and they taste fantastic.
we used
It's
to
so good.
We
And you
used to
didn't
grow figs
bring-
back in New Jersey, and I would love figs. I grew up, and I thought they were the sweetest things ever. And then my parents introduced me to soda. It all went downhill from there.
Oh man, I had a lot of soda as a kid too, but not so much. Not so
no,
much
no, same for me because we grew up very. What's a good word for it? Very.
I don't know. I don't know.
Very limberly. Is that a good word?
You were very flexible.
Leanly.
Leanly. You
Yeah.
Grew up lean.
Yeah. Basically, what we did was
Conservatively.
yes, conservatively.
Alright.
Our only drink was tap water,
Uh-huh.
and my parents didn't believe in tap water, so what we had to do was boil it every single time,
Oh wow.
and then we would put it inside a penny jar, and we would put it in the refrigerator and wait until it cooled, and that would be our water.
Not with the pennies, right?
No,
Okay.
of course
So
not.
you
with the
kids need your
pennies.
minerals, lots of copper, and nickel. Here you go. Drink it with the pennies.
Yeah, that's how we used to do it back in the day.
Wow. Well, now we have filtration systems.
Now we do,
Especially
so we don't
for
have to
LA
boil our
area.
water all the time.
LA, you don't want to drink the tap water here. New York, tap water just fine.
New York's great.
Yeah.
Toms River, New Jersey, around there, not so much. That's the Jersey Shore, by the way,
Yeah.
if you guys don't know. We had a case where this plant called Ciba-Geigy decided to throw a lot of like chemicals and stuff into our water
Manufacturing
supply.
plant, not a grow on the vine
Yeah,
plant. Okay.
and then all of a sudden, like we had some cancerous patients that rose up really, really high
Wow.
in the mid-90s. It was a little bit of a scare. It's like, oh, the water is cancerous, and then we confirmed it was true.
Wow.
So yeah, that's when we got a water cooler in our house. And now in New Jersey, like it's very common to have water coolers in every single house.
Jeez. That's really unfortunate to hear. We have a water cooler here.
Yes, we do.
And it's tasty water. Randall, you're from the South.
Yep.
And you're from the Carolinas. What was
Yep.
the water like there?
Delicious.
And the fishing?
Awesome.
The environment was great.
Environment's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been fishing in a while, man. I really would like to go.
Yeah.
I went fishing as a kid. I caught a rock cod.
Mhm.
And it's this brown, puffy fish with spikes on its fins. Ugly thing. And it was big, and it was scary to look at, too. And I thought, wow, that swims in the ocean, the same ocean I swim in.
Well,
doesn't swim there
the
anymore.
area I used to live in used to have a lot of white-tip sharks.
Mhm.
So there was one time when I was swimming down at a place called Dolphin Head, and I jumped in the water, and I wasn't thinking about this at the time, but all of the bed in there is like oysters. It's all
Oh, wow.
oysters. And you'll like walk out there when the tide's down, and you can grab a bunch of oysters out of the ground, or get stuck in the mud because it's so soft. And it's also a shark breeding ground. So one time I'm swimming out there, and I decided to put my feet on the ground, and I cut my foot up, and all of a sudden there's like fins, and I'm like,
I made a mistake.
I got out of the water really fast. It's a pretty cool place. I used to live there on the coast first, and then I moved up to Greenville, which is not the coast.
Oh.
It's closer to Clemson. So for Tiger fans out there, go Tigers.
Cool thing about Seattle on the Puget Sound, which
Yeah.
is the water area that comes into the state, is a salmon would jump out of the water.
That's so
and
cool.
to see that when I was trying to catch
Do you know
them.
what'd be
it was
cool?
great.
To see them jump out and have a harpoon gun, and then just wait for
Just
it.
wait.
And it's-
Got it. And you pull it in on
Yeah.
the line.
How cool would that be?
I'd love to do
I
that.
would feel like the
Let's take a look at
The tanks?
The tank screen here. Yeah, as we're finally getting the tanks selected, we're almost going to start the map. So we got IS-3, a KV-5, a medium one, another IS-3, another KV-5, a T-32. More of a defensive play.
Makes a
from
lot of
Simposaurus
sense, I
Rex.
think, for the
Yeah,
medium ones.
Of course.
The 5100. This is it's going to come down to positioning, I think, a lot with this 5100. You have to realize, yes, it represents a lot of damage. KV-5s actually do, I think, more damage per minute, but that's going to be burst damage. But the 5100 is going to be the first tank to go down if they do this right. Like, that's what they're going to focus on.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back on us.
Yeah, hey. So it's going to go so fast, ladies and gentlemen, that for us to commentate it, it's going to go very, very quickly. So we'll declare a winner, or whoever's the last tank standing, whoever tanks are last standing. And Malinovka is going to take a bit of a setup because the tanks are going to have to drive there
That's right.
separately, get the lineup. The admin is on comms with them to make sure everything is going according to plan. He'll give us the countdown. We'll count it down. And then the shells will fly. So just give us a couple more moments. We'll go ahead and jump into the game right now.
I did
as the tank's
check, by
getting
the
set
way,
up.
really quickly. Yeah, we can go into my screen. You know?
Although they are going to be getting set up for a minute, so it might be a little bit.
There are, for the most part, no potatoes. I don't see any, but you can see a lot of wheat.
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 It
Which
bothers me.
can't really absorb shots,
No.
but it's nice to look at.
If there are any misfires, just to let you guys know, then it will be reset with a warning. If you do 2 misfires, that is, you go before the official start, then you are disqualified.
Yes. You do not want that to happen.
So they're just positioning. Of course, let's take a look at this position because I want to see how they hide this 5100. 5100, you need about 15 seconds on average to unload your entire clip. So of course, you need 15 seconds. How are you going to do that? That's the big question. KV-5s, the big thing that they have to worry about is this R2-D2 unit. That's their weakest spot for the front of the tanks. And of course, can't really hide this, but this juts out pretty high. This juts out pretty high. You can shoot those, and it's very, very effective. So that's a hard shot to have. Let's look on the other side. We got a lot of IS-3s.
Just waiting for the lineup.
KV-5s.
I'm looking at the admin, waiting for him to give the final signal for us here. He's looking at the spread. The admin in the game, Mr. Bitter in the T1.
He does show. He does kind of throw off the points. He gives us 43 points. So if anybody's looking up there and seeing 43, and also the extra player, that is Mr. Bitter, our admin.
Yeah.
So
no
just
worries about that.
yeah, no
he
worries
does not
about the
count.
guess.
And also, just to let you guys know. Oh, never mind.
What was it?
Nothing.
You had me anticipating it. All right. Final positions are almost in place, ladies and gentlemen, before we get this underway. Still the 42 tier point limit, and like we addressed, there's 43 because of Mr. Bitter, the admin in the game.
So look at this positioning. I like this a lot. KV-5s are going, and IS-3s are going to have the sides, the T-32 in a very nice hull down position, and then you have the medium ones that are setting up to defend. You can see it's a very, very tough shot to make. We want to attack those R2-D2 units. We want to attack the hull of this T-32. Those are the weakest points in the front, and of course they're going to be blocked by, you know, several different variables.
Looks like the admin, Mr. Bitter, is getting away from the battlefield. I'm going to wait for his final approval and also his countdown before the shots are going to fire. Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be just like the Revolutionary War. They're going to be coming in hot in just a couple seconds.
They will be. We're going to see it. I just want to look at the positioning right now. A little bit more disorganized, but definitely the same theoretical basis goes out for hunter by hunter. And let's go ahead and find out. Remember, the carcasses can be used as a great way to see what's going on. And here we have it.
Just waiting for the final countdown here. Surprised the other KV-5 isn't trying to blow the rest of the tanks. He's got the T1 as a shield, though. The moving wall, we like to call it, 1780 hit points. Remember, Mr. Bitter is not part of the team, so if they do shoot at him, that will be a wasted shot. That's why he is way out of the way in that T1. He's just going through final approvals on both teams, and you'll notice the time, 26 minutes. So we have to have a winner by destruction. And look at the red team here. They are in this triangle of death. The 5100 is going to shoot right over the IS-3, or at least try to, right in this little window, right through here. And that is going to be some very close
That's a
fire.
tough shot.
Yeah, real tough.
I wouldn't be surprised if.
But it's a good lineup, at
He had a
least for the
T1.
5100. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
But I think, honestly, the T-32 is in a much better spot relative to the IS-3 that's in the center there. The only shots you can get on the IS-3 are going to be on the mantlet and also the hatch. And the hatch is pretty exposed right there. It's one of the most exposed parts of the IS-3, and that's how you do it.
Oh, we
First
got a
shots.
shot fired. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, what was that?
Don't know.
Is damage done against Air News?
Yeah, that is damage on Air News.
And that might be the first warning right there. As nobody else fired, which means there was a misfire.
Let's see what the admin decides on.
Yeah, we'll have to clarify with the
'Cause that's
admin
actually
here.
damage done. That's not like a misfire. That's misfire on a target.
Yeah.
That's from one of the T1s.
Yeah.
That's from...
I know.
So,
I thought it
ladies
was-
and gentlemen, we might have to redo all of this. No, we're not.
No?
Simp
Simp
wins.
wins.
Wow,
Simp
that's an
wins.
anticlimactic end to this.
All right, looks like the admin has declared that Simp wins. Simposaurus Rex will be our victor. Congratulations to them in a shootout that was one shot. I guess. We'll get a final determination here, but hats off to both these teams again participating in the league, trying to make it through the qualifier. Simposaurus Rex will be the one determined to get through. Hunter by Hunter has another shot in qualifier number 2, which will be happening in 2 weeks. Make sure to sign up next week. More information, go to WGLNA.com. We're going to take a quick break. We come back, we're going to get the final set up between Simposaurus Rex and Cazadori. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 qualifier number 1. anticlimactic for the end of that shootout, but it was because Hunter by Hunter fired out of turn, really. They fired before the countdown and disqualified them. So that means an automatic victory for Simposaurus Rex. They'll move on to the finals against Cazadores, which will be setting up here in just a little bit.